Welcome everybody to the Healthy Habit Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dayon of Healthy Habit Medical Center, located right inside Healthy Habit Health Foods here at 6029 North 7th Street in Central Phoenix, Arizona. And today's episode 155, with yours truly, Mr. Richard Cividanes is back with us, the National Science Educator, representing a wonderful company, a fan favorite here, customer favorite at Host Defense Mushrooms. And welcome back, Richard. How are we doing on your end?
Thank you, Doctor. Doing really well. I appreciate the time and the opportunity here to speak with you today. Thanks so much.
If someone's first tuning in with us here and it's their first time meeting Richard, I want to give a little brief background on Richard. Again, National Science Educator, Host Defense Mushrooms, company founded by Mr. Paul Stamets. And Richard has over 25 years involvement with the natural products industry. His experience includes working as a staff member in health food stores and natural food co-ops in New York and Washington State. Richard's part of the family who founded Topical BioMedics and developed the award-winning homeopathic topical brand Topricin. He was their brand manager and educator for 15 years, where he regularly traveled the country educating thousands of retail staff and medical professionals on the benefits of this homeopathic product, Topricin. And Richard's been on previous episodes, like episode 144 would be the most recent one here on the Healthy Habit Podcast. So again, Richard, thanks for coming on, my friend. Thanks for taking the time.
Of course. Always happy to talk mushrooms with you, Doctor.
Yeah, likewise. And I always have my notes ready here, and it's always informative to me because, I mean, and maybe you can hit on this. This is arguably, we don't know this for 100% fact, but potentially one of the oldest species of living of life on the earth here is mushrooms. Before plants, before animals, before humans. You want to hit on that? How mushrooms go back a long time.
They really do. There's archaeological evidence that's been uncovered in some areas of the world that literally puts these organisms living here on planet Earth to the billions of years with the bee. Yeah, so they have had a long arc of time to develop some of these really unique enzymatic and chemical processes that they play here on planet Earth. And really, without these organisms, there would be no soil systems. Without soil systems, obviously, there would be no plants. Without plants, there wouldn't be animals. So, this web of life that we are all integrated into, the fungal organisms play a very, very deep role, a primary role in the preparation and creation of the base materials that allow life to flourish on the planet.
That's unbelievable. I'm going to take a clip of that for the intro of this interview. That's a good way to set the stage. And Richard and I haven't really dived into the following topic too much, maybe ever, in our past episodes involving the role of mushrooms in gut health. So maybe give us a little bit of an intro there. What angle can we see mushrooms being beneficial when it comes to gastrointestinal health? We're not going to mention any specific medical conditions or treatment plans or medical advice in this show, but we know that prebiotics are necessary for maintaining a healthy microbiome. So let's start with an intro. What role do you see mushrooms playing in the gut health?
Sure, and thanks for the opportunity. So, these organisms, this area of gut health in relation to mushrooms and macrofungal organisms is one of the key places there's a lot of research occurring and happening. And one of the things that the research has uncovered is that multiple beneficial and edible culinary species play sometimes multiple roles in supporting digestive system health. And as research is uncovering more connections between gut health and the health of the whole body, this becomes a real primary focus for people who are wanting to establish that idea of whole body wellness and what are the different organ systems that we could support that can bring us into that place of multiple organ system health. We know that the gut crosstalks as the conversation goes, and it crosstalks with many body systems in ourselves, including our immune system. So obviously, it's pretty well known now, knowledge that the gut, our large intestine specifically, houses the largest amount of microbiological species that live anywhere in or within us as an individual. And it's kind of fun to think of ourselves as this moving, grooving ecosystem as opposed to just an individual, because now we know that there are literally thousands of species of microorganisms that interact on a regular basis with us at a very deep cellular and molecular level. And many of the beneficial and edible mushrooms have been found to support the proliferation of a multitude of probiotic bacterial species within our digestive system. They literally use the same mushrooms that we're consuming for our food and nourishment and health to support their nourishment and health and proliferation as well. So we have mushroom species that kind of cross over between that beneficial and culinary categories, like shiitake, maitake, lion's mane, that have been shown to support gut health. The oyster mushroom, another one that is both beneficial and culinary, has research that shows that it acts as a strong prebiotic for the microbiological organisms within our intestines. Then we have some of the more specific to the beneficial side and category, like reishi and cordyceps and turkey tail and chaga, that all also have numerous published peer-reviewed journal articles showing their support of the microbiome. So when we consume these mushrooms for our health in our supplementation or as part of our meals, we are directly feeding that microbiome that we now know plays such a significant role in creating a range of vitamins and other metabolites and acids that our body utilizes on a regular basis. Now, just to take it one step further,
Yeah.
there are also a group of mushrooms that have been identified. Reishi, lion's mane, chaga, these are 3 species specifically that have also been found to play some really key roles in helping with the replication processes that the barrier tissues are constantly going through in our digestive system. So that barrier, which is the largest barrier in and on our body, which is our digestive system barrier, only a single cell wall thick. It replicates itself on average someplace between like every 3 to 4 days. Every one of those multi-billions of barrier cells have been
Wow.
replaced by new cells. And there are some of the functionings of that replication that the reishi, lion's mane, and chaga have been found to support. So you get this opportunity for supporting the integrity of the barrier, which is a vital barrier. You get the role of these same types of mushrooms feeding the microbiological organisms that live above that barrier. And we also have instances in the research where we show that a number of these mushroom species also play a role in supporting immune modulatory activity within our digestive system. And that is the area of our body where most of our immune cells reside. So helping to support the modulation, the ability of those immune cells to do their jobs through the different stages of their activity is another vital role that these mushrooms can play. So it's kind of
Wow.
multi-pronged, right? We're directly feeding the microbiome, we're supporting the barrier, and we're supporting immune modulatory practices and processes within the digestive system. Those 3 things connected together can play an integral role in, again, supporting whole body health and wellness, as we're starting to understand in the modern day research literature, but also pivoting back and looking into the past at more of our ancient ethnobotanical practices. A lot of these medical practices believed that both health and disease began in the digestive system, and much of the the modern day research looking at the role of our gut is also kind of pointing in those really interesting directions.
Fascinating. That's incredible stuff. And you listed at least 7 to 10 different mushrooms there, from shiitake to maitake to cordyceps. I think you even mentioned. On all of them individually have shown to bring something unique to the table here when it comes
Yes.
to supporting gut health. We're going to use that term loosely. Again, we're not providing medical advice. It's just the support of these are supplements and lifestyle strategies you can start applying into your life. Is there any specific host defense gut formula?
We do have one combination formula that is
Okay.
called microbiome powder. It's part of our MycoBotanicals line where we're combining mushrooms and herbs. In the microbiome powder, we actually combine mushrooms, herbs, as well as 3 probiotic strains of bacteria, all bacillus species. So these are a very specific type of, they're not lactobacillus. These are known as
Right.
bacillus species. And these are the type of microorganisms that will only colonize within our large intestine. So there's some really interesting research data on these species. It shows that their survivability, they're able to survive the transit through the stomach and the small intestine. Somewhere between 94 and 99% of them will survive that transit. They cannot and will not activate and colonize in the small intestine. So if a person has a concern about small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, the bacillus species are not species that will involve themselves in that kind of culturing within the small intestine. And the research has shown that they help to support gut motility, they
Yeah.
support healthy stool formation, and they support immune modulatory activity in the large intestine as well. So those three species, which a single serving, which is a teaspoon of that powder, gets you 10 billion CFUs of these spore-forming bacteria, along with two digestive system supporting herbs. It's organic burdock root and organic marshmallow root. These are Western herbs that are known as demulcents. So they help to support the mucopolysaccharide layers in our body.
Mm.
They oftentimes, these herbs will create like a gel-like substance when they are put into water. It's very soothing to that area in the digestive system. Burdock root also, is generally known to help tonify intestinal tissues. Also, an absolutely brilliant liver herb for helping to support liver health. And then the marshmallow root, on top of its demulcent activity, supporting that mucopolysaccharide layer, which I didn't mention. That's the area in the digestive system where many of the bacterial species live and reside, is in and around that
Right.
mucopolysaccharide layer. The marshmallow root also supports immune modulatory activity. And then we've got the three mushroom species that have some great research on their ability to support proliferation of microorganisms. That's turkey tail, lion's mane, and reishi, as well as the lion's mane and reishi also playing their roles in supporting the barrier tissue integrity and immune modulatory activity as well. So
Yeah.
for a person who's looking to support digestive system health, this is kind of helping to provide the three different areas: the fungal organisms, the bacterial organisms, and some herbs that can support the digestive system.
And I was just about to ask why those three specific mushrooms. So there we go. Richard's one step ahead of me there on that. And look at that, lion's mane. A lot of people that are into the world of natural health have more than likely already heard of lion's mane by now. But for brain health, cognition, memory, focus, performance on cognitive tasks, maybe some
Mhm.
mental health support like ADHD, depression, anxiety, things of that nature. But I bet most people haven't heard of lion's mane for gut health support. So maybe go a little bit deeper on lion's mane. And does that one have a lot of specific gut health research behind it?
It actually does. There is some significant research on extractions of mushroom fruit bodies on the lion's mane mycelium in regards to gut health, and it's
Yeah.
kind of unique. Now we know that our gut, the numbers that I keep seeing in research is between 100 and 500 million neurons
Oh,
in
wow.
our digestive system alone. So, it's one of the things we've often talked about, at least since I was a kid in the 70s, like our gut being our second brain. It's like, what is your gut telling you? Or whenever you're feeling, nervous about an
Yeah.
upcoming talk or lecture or test you have to take, where do we feel it? We feel it in our gut. We feel that those butterflies, right? And now we know that there are hundreds of millions of neurons, brain cells that exist within the lining of our digestive system. So the more that research is showing this dynamic crosstalk that happens where these organ systems are communicating back and forth with one another in a myriad of ways, and through a myriad number of different channels, neurological channels, as well as microbiological channels, the opportunity for some of these organisms like lion's mane that has been found in the research to support both of these body systems just more deeply entrenches it as one of the really, like, not only smart mushrooms, but mushroom organisms that so many people can consider utilizing for their health. We have to remember too, mushrooms like lion's mane, these fall into a categories that are both culinary, edible, as well as beneficial.
Mm.
There are many health food stores and farmers markets these days where you can find quality grown lion's mane mushroom fruit bodies. These organisms act as our food. The supplements or the fruit bodies can be consumed on a regular basis to consistently impart their ability to support our body through our dietary choices. So it's one of the mushrooms that I highly suggest if a person does not have an adverse reaction to mushrooms and you could think about consuming them in your diet, utilizing supplements, utilizing the fruit bodies in your meals is a marvelous way to consistently be supporting these important body systems. And obviously, we know that brain and neurological health is at the top of the list of things that people are interested in,
Yeah.
finding supports for. Digestive system health is another huge category of interest for people, and what brings a lot of folks into the natural products industry and into health food stores to find substances and supplements that can support their digestive system health. And here again, we have a mushroom like lion's mane that's significantly supporting digestive health while also supporting cognitive health and supporting a lot of those cognitive processes that we want to maintain as we are aging.
That's a great point that we have the neurons in the gut as well. Because, yes, it is great for nervous system health, nerves, and the CNS, the central nervous system. But that's a very important connection there that we have those in the gut as well. So it's going to help all neurons in the system potentially. So that's a very interesting angle. Again, folks, episode 155. We're talking with Richard Cividanes here, and we just covered the MycoBotanicals microbiome powder. And this MycoBotanicals line, it has other products as well, like the Breathe formula, if I'm not mistaken, and the Energy formula. But this is specifically the microbiome powder. And this one's only available as powder, correct?
That's correct. Yep, we don't have that one in a capsule form. With the 1 teaspoon serving for
Yeah.
that proper amount of serving sizes of all those things, it would be too many capsules. We felt that you'd have to consume at one time. The
Yes.
powder is easy. It has a pretty neutral flavor. To me, this one it is slightly sweet in its flavor, and that's I think because of the marshmallow root. Kind of imparts a sweet flavor, but it mixes easily into water or smoothie. You can blend it into a tea or coffee, even stir it up, mix it, and drink it down. I find that they're really easy to consume in water. They don't have a horrible flavor, and we all should be drinking some water throughout the day. So a lot of times with my powders, I take them in the morning and I just drink them down with my first or second glass of water that I'm going to consume in the day. It doesn't leave a bad taste in your mouth, and it's a really easy way to get a significant serving of the mushrooms, herbs, and in that case, the probiotic organisms. Without having to deal with so many capsules. And those, just to make a mention too, of those bacterial species, the bacillus species, they're spore forming bacteria. So they form a spore around them when they're in their inactive state. So they're incredibly shelf stable. As long as you're not leaving them in a hot car day after day, they will maintain their presence in your your cabinet or in your closet, wherever you're keeping them, and during the day. They don't have to be refrigerated. And as
Okay.
soon as they become wet, as soon as they get put into water,
Yeah.
they begin to activate. They start coming out of that spore formed process and get ready for the potential for being able to colonize, and then obviously potentially reproduce after that as well.
I'm sure the marshmallow starts soaking up some of that liquid as well, and that starts getting that mucilaginous form.
Yes,
So
the burdock root too
the
will have
burdock
that
root.
same kind of process. So this is a good one to mix into water, drink it right away. One, because you're activating the bacterial species as soon as they become wet, but also because if it sits too long, it's going to get kind of thicker and thicker,
Yeah.
because of some of those herbs. So I just suggest you mix it in your water, drink it down right away. Don't take it with you and hold on to sip it over the next hour or two. You might not enjoy the the
Yeah.
consistency over time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And again, this does have that probiotic blend in there as well. So it's herbs, probiotics, and mushrooms in that microbiome formula through the MycoBotanicals line. So good, Rich. This has been fascinating. Mushrooms can potentially help with gut health as well. So what can't they do, right? It just goes on with the benefits there. And what motivated you, Richard, to get involved with this company in particular, Host Defense? You've been in the natural health world for over a couple decades now, and
I have
obviously
been.
this is a phenomenal company. But I want to hear your angle on it. What motivated you to get involved with Host Defense mushrooms specifically?
Thank you. Yeah, it is a phenomenal company, and I've had the honor of being kind of like in a close alignment with the company through family. Back going into, I believe, almost 26 years ago now, my brother was one of Paul Stamets's first uh, employees at Fungi Perfecti. I
Oh,
think he was
wow.
the eighth, maybe the ninth employee. I had an opportunity to meet Paul soon after Steven started working there. My family's company that you made a mention of a while back in the program, we Topical BioMedics, we produced homeopathic topical products called Topricin. There was a period of time where Fungi Perfecti was helping to produce Garicon extracts that we were then potentizing into a homeopathic remedies and blending into our Topricin product. And when I was feeling like it was time to shift my work from Topricin and what I had been doing for close to 20 years, Fungi Perfecti was an interest. I've been watching the company grow. I've been using their mushrooms to support my health for, a quarter of a century. And the opportunity arose. They were looking for a person on the education team. That was part of the things that I did with Topricin. And it's just been an honor to be out helping to support Paul's work and his ethos that he's bringing into the company and into the businesses that we work around and that we are connected with, and having an opportunity to be involved with, quite in my humble opinion, the Fungi Perfecti education team is one of the most dynamic in the industry. There are 7 individuals on our team. We are working collaboratively all the time, building educational modules and webinars that we help to train staff at health food stores and medical professionals. We host consumer lectures around the country where we get to talk with people about our passion and interest. And mushrooms have always been an interest and a passion of mine. I'm a novice mushroom hunter, and
Oh,
have
wow.
been for decades. It's something that I enjoy to do with my friends and my family when the season is right and the mushrooms are starting to pop in the forests. And I've just been really closely aligned with the company for so long that it was an easy slipping into the work and the support that I've been doing for them.
Absolutely. And we can feel that passion coming through and just how informed you are. You clearly have a passion for this and love studying the mushrooms and helping people with this. So, again, thanks for all you do, Richard, and the team there at
Appreciate
Host
it.
Defense and Amanda and Jerry Angelini and all the whole team there. So,
Yeah.
before we went on here, and we're coming to the closing here, but Washington State, is that the headquarters?
Washington State is where the company is located. Yep. So
Uh,
up on the Olympic Peninsula, close to the Olympic National Forest, where many of the species of mushrooms that we have in our culture library have been discovered by
there we go.
Paul
So
and or our research team.
it's
Yeah.
just ripe up there, right, for mushroom hunting.
Very much so, yes. In fact,
Fascinating.
I was just up there last week, and there were people talking about all of the chanterelles they had been harvesting from their local forests because they got the perfect amount of rain a few weeks ago, and then it became dry again, and that's the perfect condition for these late summer, early fall mushrooms to start reproducing as fruit bodies. My brother alone, he and his partner, I think they found close to 7 pounds of chanterelles in a
Wow.
few minutes of time.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a prolific harvest so far. It seems like that this year up there.
And let's finish off on a word on the sustainability. A lot of people always have that on their radar. They want to make sure they're supporting a company and a product that has ethical sourcing and environmental responsibility. So, what words would you have on that to let the customer be to kind of rest assured? And then we'll finish off there.
Sure, and thanks so much. Yeah, so kind of environmentalism, sustainability has kind of always been part of the ethos of Paul. I mean, he started this company, Fungi Perfecti, back in 1980. And so because of the work that he does in the ecosystems, it's always been closely aligned. He's been a man who's been, saying that we need to protect old growth forests because they are bastions of these organisms that we have not yet discovered that may very well help us in the future as a species dramatically. As the company has grown and evolved into what it is today, sustainability has really always been the focus. So we've done our due diligence. We are a climate positive company, which means that we offset more carbon than we produce as a business. We use a vast array of renewable resources and renewable energy sources. Our packaging, even though much of our packaging is in plastic bottles, that is 100% post-consumer recycled plastic, which means that we're not producing any virgin plastic. We're using 100% recycled plastic to build those bottles and canisters, which many companies do not do. In fact, so few companies do it that we have to special order those bottles every time
Oh,
we
wow.
produce them. And there is a vast array of information you can find on our website. Like every year we release a sustainability report that speaks directly to the things we've been doing as a company over the last year to continue moving us in that direction of doing more with less, helping to utilize renewable resources wherever we can. So for instance, we don't use plastic bags in any of our warehouse spaces, any of our shipping departments. It's all biodegradable material that goes into our packaging. And we're constantly developing more and more unique ways to move forward with that. Last one, just as a for instance,
Yeah, please.
our microbrew drink mixes, single serve sachets, those are compostable. So they're not virgin plastic, which many single serve sachets for drinks are.
Wow.
Ours are made from cellulose-based layers with water-based adhesives between them. They are certified as compostable. So if once you're done using it, you can throw it right in your compost bin and it will compost when it gets to the compost pile.
Unbelievable. We can have a separate episode just for that, the environmental sustainability and ethical side of things here at Host Defense and all the different initiatives that the company's involved with and Save the Bees and all this kind of thing. Where can people
Yes.
find out more, Richard, about maybe yourself or the company, or where do you want to point listeners to besides this interview?
Sure. So website real easy is fungi.com, fungi.com. On there, there's lots of blog information that will have information about mushroom mycelium, mushroom fruit bodies. Some of our sustainability efforts are there as well. There's a lot of educational information that a person could find easily on that website, as well as details about the different mushrooms and products that we grow and produce. We work with 17 different species at the farm that we grow in our grow rooms and laboratories.
Richard, thank you for your time. You're a legend, buddy.
Thank you,
Appreciate you.
Doctor. Appreciate you as well. I hope you have a
Looking
great remainder of the day.
looking forward to our next one.
Appreciate it.